Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the channel. My name is Lindsay, and this is Life with Lindsay. Today, we have a WIP Chat. If you do not know what a WIP Chat is, that is when I work on my current WIP, WIP, which is work in progress, and you can pull out whatever it is that you are working on. It can be a craft project, a house project. I've had people listen while they're driving around, while they are at work, while they're pretending to work, while they're doing household chores, anything that you want to be doing. There is no right way or wrong way to WIP and Chat. So, I have, what am I working on? Oh, Warm Witch. I am working on my Drills and Chills and DP Festival of Witches canvas here. If you are actually watching this, this is upside down. I have flipped the canvas. Oddly enough, I was going to work on this section right here with you guys, but then my mom called, and I spent the last, 20 plus minutes talking to her. We saw them today, which I'll tell you guys about in a little bit, but it's funny, she called to tell me that she was upset because my daughter did not want to say goodbye to her. And I was like, okay, what am I supposed to say? She's 3, she's almost 4, but I can't be mad at her because she doesn't listen when I tell her to do stuff. So why would I expect her to listen when someone else is telling her to do something? We actually went down to see my family for my aunt's birthday. And again, I'll go over all of this with you guys, but my daughter, I was like, can you please tell your aunt happy birthday? And she's like, no, maybe later. And she just kept saying that the whole day. And then finally, as my aunt's leaving, I was like, can you please wish her a happy birthday? And she said, happy birthday. And that was the end of that. So, before I get super into my week, if you just heard that noise or, any other noise, my husband is in the room. Say hi, husband.
Hello.
Our child should be asleep, but alas is not. So if you hear the tiny human singing the song of her people, well, that's why. I feel like no matter what, she's always awake when I film now, which I film during the hours that she is supposed to be sleeping. Oh man, nothing's worse than when you use a multiplacer and you skip and they all get jacked up. So anyway, I am going to tell you guys about my week. It was fun, I think. I do send myself notes so that I can remember what I did, because honestly, if I didn't do that, I would be like, so on Monday, I did one thing, but I can't remember what it is. The end. And that wouldn't be very entertaining for you guys. So, if you guys watched my last WIP and Chat, since I posted that, I have purchased a hard drive. So hopefully this will help ease some of my anxiety. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I will link that up in the eye. And to all the people who contacted me to give me their recommendations for ways that they deal with it and things of that manner, thank you very much. I had quite a few people message me and say, well, why don't you back it up to your computer? And the problem with that is that I need a computer that's not a decade old. I have a computer that I use for bare minimum things. Honestly, the most action it sees is when it's my light pad's not my light pad. My ring light is plugged into it. But on Monday was Columbus Day, or Indigenous Peoples Day. And because of that, the local pumpkin patch place that's only open on the weekends actually extended their hours, which worked out great because we've been wanting to go, but for some reason, every weekend we want to go, and they're only open on the weekends in October. So it's not open in September or in November. I can't be mad at it. It's not my business. I'm not here to tell anyone how to run their business, but literally being open 8 days a year and you're so close to me, it bums me out. But we went to this pumpkin patch, and I had been there before with my husband. My husband had not. I was going to say with my husband. I had been there 2 years ago, pre-COVID. I think that sounds right. And it's a cute little pumpkin patch. It's not big by any means. They have pumpkins that you can purchase and pick, but then they also have the hay rides and the corn pit and all this stuff. And it was really, really great. And I thoroughly enjoyed my day there. we interacted with quite a few other parents who had kids that were similar in age to my child. There was one guy, there's always one guy that you're like, dude, you are just, take yourself out of the conversation. He was there with his wife and kids and was telling us way too many details about his kids, like way too many. Like if that was my husband, I would be like, okay, enough. Like you're borderline oversharing. And he was a very odd man. I think he just didn't pick up on a lot of the cues. And this other woman who has 2 kids, one the same age as my daughter, and one that's a year older. And, like, we were, like, this close to exchanging information so that our kids could have a play date. And then he, like, went back to talk to her as I was leaving with my daughter. So I was like, oh, okay, it's nice to meet you. I don't fault him for that, but, you know. It is what it is. Anyway, so he came up to me and he's like, so, you guys have any more kids? And I was like, no. And he's like, well, why not? When are you going to have another kid? And I'm like, whoa, this is not an appropriate conversation for a stranger. It's also not an appropriate conversation, in case anyone didn't know this, to ask someone who is your friend as well. Because you never know who has been dealing with fertility issues, whether they have kids or not. I think that's something that's pretty misunderstood a lot of times, is people assume if you have like 1 child or 3 kids or whatever, that it's no longer like infertility. It's just, but it is. It can still, you can still have infertility issues, or you can have other issues going on that don't allow you to have any more kids. And that's just as valid as somebody who doesn't have 1 kid, or who only has 1 kid. Like, if you have 7 kids and you're trying for an 8th, like, it's really rude when somebody says to you, but at least you have 7. Because that's obviously not where your goal is. So, just my little 2 cents. As somebody who has struggled with infertility, I'm just gonna leave that there as that is. But, I really enjoyed it. My kid was all about the corn pit. We found so much corn in her pants. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's like dried corn. It's what they use for feed, right?
Yeah.
And it gets everywhere, but she had a ball. She really did not care at all. She could have spent all day in that corn pit if I let her. But I didn't, obviously, because we had other things to do. But I love, oh my God. This is what I hate. These tiny little tabs that get in the way. Because now all of these are off, so. I'm trying to figure out if it's easier to slide it down or slide everything up. So yeah, I'm just going to pretend like I'm not having to do all this while I keep talking to you guys. But we loved it. We had a great time. The only thing that sucked is, like, while we were there, the hayride itself was not running. And then, like, as we're leaving, I saw them had another tour loaded up. And I was like, damn it. She did get to go on, like, the little wagon, the barrel wagon. I don't know what you call them. Rides. And she loved it. But, it was a great time. It was a really great time. I love all things fall. It has been unseasonably warm here. Like, unseasonably warm. To put it into perspective, it is mid-October. And I still have my houseplants outside on my porch because it's not cold enough for me to have to bring them back in.
Today's the first day in a week I haven't had the air conditioning on. Like,
oh, yeah. Well, I was going to say we weren't really home much today either, but yeah.
It was cool out today, so.
And, I actually have apple cider in my mug. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it is like a color change cup. I did not know that. It also says, so for those who don't like politics, sorry about this, no one is illegal on stolen land. I don't apologize for it. I don't know why I just said that, because that's a true statement. And I'm just going to leave it at that. So, I went to the chiropractor. I think I mentioned this in my last video, that I have just started seeing a chiropractor. And when I walked in for my, like, assessment, if you will, our first session was just going over what they can offer and getting x-rays and things like that done, she looked at me and she said, have you ever been measured for a leg length discrepancy? And I was like, I don't think so. Well, by the time I came back in for my appointment this week, they had all the details of that. And she goes, yeah, so it definitely shows that you've never been measured for one, because you have a 16 millimeter difference. For those who don't do metric, that's about 5/8 of an inch. So lucky me, I get to get lifts for my shoes. This getting older, I don't want to say like aging thing, but I guess this aging thing is a hoot, you know? And then, oh, I guess that was the day I went in for my assessment. Either way, we had Taco Bell for lunch, and they had these new, like, cheesy layer tacos. I think they were, like, cantina tacos. I didn't love them. My husband enjoyed it, but I thought it was meh. And then we went to Mission Barbecue, which, if you guys hear me say we go to Mission a lot, it does seem like we go to Mission a lot, because it's one of those restaurants that it has something we know everyone's going to eat. And it has super easy outdoor seating. It's just super easy. Excuse me. And it's near like the Target shopping center, and it's near a couple other things, so we can actually like make a plan and do stuff. Now, have we gone just to eat? Absolutely. But we did that. And then of course, Briar feels the need to tell us every time she hears country music that it's dancing music. But you guys, the line was out the door. Like, not even exaggerating. It was out the door, and I'm not even sure how many people were behind the door. But I have never seen it like that. Now, when we walked in, there were a bunch of people in line, but nobody was taking orders, so I think they were just trying to catch up. Just realized that my timer had stopped. So I'm going to have to add a few minutes to the end of that. So remind me, I need to add like 10 minutes to my timer. But we did that, and then we went to the local bakery, and my daughter ordered a cupcake and legitimately only ate the icing. So we've now had to tell her, like, if you're going to get something from the bakery, you know, I don't care what it is, but if you get a cupcake, you have to eat some of the cake. You can't just eat the icing, which I shouldn't be surprised by, because I feel like a lot of people like that. But also, at the same token, I'm not spending, you know, bakery prices for you to eat icing. I can just go get a jar of it and put some on a spoon and call it a day. And to be honest with you, she wouldn't know the difference. She'd be like, ooh, icing, yay! Which the icing on the cake tonight was delicious. Side note.
I thought the cake itself was really good.
It was really good. And it was from like a super well-known bakery. There's like a whole story behind it, Michelle was telling me.
I've never seen a cake so dense.
It was a pound cake.
Oh, okay. Well,
and it was turned into a birthday cake instead of being on a log.
Okay.
You guys are probably like, what the F are you guys talking about? This is all with my aunt's birthday. We'll chat about that. But we did that, and then what else do we do? So there is a local-ish shop that I follow, and you guys tell me your opinion. Tell me what you think. I lost a ton of respect for this business. So they had a customer leave them a review that stated, the tacos were really bland. I felt like there was no taco seasoning. I much prefer the taco salad at Wendy's. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that a lot of people in the area that I live in don't know what authentic tacos taste like. I mean, that's a pretty good limb for me to go out on. But then they tweeted at Wendy's, and they said, Wendy's, come get your girl. Okay, whatever. Then they shared the post again later, and they actually had the girl's handle. And I'm like, look, I understand that as a business, you don't want any bad reviews being left. But it's super unclassy, in my opinion, for a business to share the information of the person who left you a bad review. You know, like, I know there are people out there who are going to be like, well, she put it on the internet, so it's already there. But it also makes me wonder, what is someone going to say about me and my family and our experience after I leave a place if they're so willing to do that? And I don't know if they were doing it because they wanted like Wendy's to shout them out or what. But if it didn't happen the first day, to tweet the same thing again and tag the girl, like, I don't know, it just didn't sit well with me. And let me know your thoughts on that down below. So Tuesday, we went skating, which was nice because we had missed the week before. And there were quite a few kids there this time. They canceled the other tot session for the rest of the, I think, till next month's session starts. And I don't know if that's even like a guarantee or not. So I think we have more kids in this session than normal because they combine two groups, which I have no problem with. As long as my kid is still doing what she needs to do, like I'm all for whatever it is that needs to be done. You know what I mean? But they did the thing with the stuffed animals again, which if you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, I've talked about this in an older WIP Chat. I don't remember which one, but my daughter has a really hard time detaching herself and separating emotions from like inanimate objects. So for her, she can put all of her emotion into a stuffed animal and is like really distraught if it gets taken away. So I see her skating up the boards, trying to shove this tiny little cat, no surprise, it was a cat, into her pocket when nobody was looking. I'm like banging on the glass. I'm like, ma'am, you need to put that down. Ma'am, that's not yours. And she just looked at me because she was like, crap, I got caught. You guys, it made me laugh so hard. She's like trying to shove it in her pocket and she's trying to skate away. I'm like, girlfriend.
Shoplifting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She definitely got caught red-handed, you guys. Red-handed. But it was a hoot. But I started working on one of my crochet projects. If you guys have noticed, I have really fallen in love with crochet, and I know a lot of people are super into cross stitch right now, which is fantastic as well. I don't really understand how to cross stitch, and I would like to better those skills someday. But for me, I love being able to crochet on the go. So it's perfect, like if we're in the car or if we're sitting on the couch together, my husband and I watching TV. Like, diamond painting isn't really a easily transported from here to there kind of thing. If you guys would like some tips and tricks on how I diamond paint on the go, I will tag that video for you guys up in the eye. I think I need to grab a minder. My plastic split here because I cut it in the wrong place, so I'm trying to maneuver gently around it. But I know some people here have zero interest in the crochet content and other people are loving it. But if you guys are interested, I will make sure to link the latest unboxing from the Woobles up in the eye. Oh, what else did we do? So Tuesday, we went to get Mexican. So on Tuesdays after ice skating, we tend to go get lunch because even though she's done at like 10:40, she is like rip roaring and ready to go because she just exerted herself for, 30 to 60 minutes, depending on how much she cooperates. And I actually got a tote bag in the mail from a small shop that I am letting her use as like her ice skating bag right now. Oh my God, you guys, it's Lisa Frank. I absolutely love it. But it's got a waterproof lining, so it's perfect. She can throw in her snow pants and her wet gloves and things like that. So she was super excited, but because it's a tote bag, when she puts it over her shoulders, it like hits the floor because, well, she's a tiny human. But we went and got Mexican food, and this kid, she smacked her head against the back of the booth. Thank you. And then later in the meal, I'm just gonna keep going here because that's split. It's the only thing I don't like about the plastic is if you don't do it right, like I still have a piece up here. Nobody cares. It's like shredding on my canvas. And I don't know how many of you have had to do it, but I've had to do it where you have to like grab the tweezers and actually, I grab a minder real quick. Hopefully that didn't shake too much. I just lost my train of thought. There we go. Where it's actually shredded and I have to pick up tweezers. There we go. One day, my thoughts will be more cohesive than they are today. And that's probably a lie, but I'm going to just tell myself that. But anyway, so she hit her head on the back of, it's like those really big wooden booths. And then, I don't even remember how the mid-meal tantrum started, but she threw her face forward and then hit her chin onto the table. And then that freaked her out, and so she threw her head back and then hit her head. This poor kid, she just was like banged up like crazy. And I jokingly said, do you want mommy to go get your skating helmet? And then she got upset because she really wanted mommy to get her skating helmet. Can you imagine just like walking by a kid who's wearing a helmet, like a bicycle helmet, because they just keep hitting their head in the restaurant for no reason? Like, she was just messing around and like climbing on the booth and, you know, being a toddler. Which, side note, what do I call her after 3? Because I know they're not toddlers anymore. But yeah, watching my child eat a taco like a big girl just breaks my heart, because it's a sheer reminder of she's not so little anymore, and it makes me so sad because I want to freeze her and keep her like this forever. But also, I love seeing this big kid that she's growing into, and the personality, and, you know, I don't like the attitude and the sass, but, you know, ugh, I don't want to get weepy. I don't want to get weepy. But I had to pick up some balloons, and it was funny because I got Briar a Minnie Mouse balloon, and it stayed in our house for like 2 days after being in the car for a day. And I was like, how has she not noticed this giant balloon? I will insert the photo of the balloon and her here. It's adorable. It's hilarious. And now all she wants to do is keep bringing it near the fan. And I'm like, can we move it away from the fan? The fan's not on because we're smarter than that. But I think she really wants to see what will happen if we turn on the fan and the balloon is near it. But I don't want to do that because, well, that sounds like a terrible idea. Are you guys team balloon? I know some people, I've got some friends that, like, they abhor balloons. They can't handle the sound of them. They just, no balloons. I have no issues with balloons. I remember a couple years ago, the price of helium was, like, unreal. But I mean, we should probably think of balloons for her birthday. In all honesty, that balloon might still be up. Her birthday's in like 3 weeks, you guys. I can't handle it.
It's like 5 weeks.
Oh, my birthday's in 3 weeks.
Yeah, don't say that to somebody who has a bunch of deadlines.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. My birthday's in like 3 weeks. Her birthday is like 2 weeks later, you guys. I'm sorry about that. My husband, I could hear the audible gasp from him over there. He's right. Sorry, did not mean to scare the crap out of you. Man, I have all of these tiny little tabs in this kit. It's driving me nuts. I don't know if you guys can see it in my trash or not. Yeah, you can kind of see. Like the real little ones. Those drive me nuts. I don't mind them being there. It's just they take up like valuable space in my multi-placer, and if I don't get them out, then they end up all over my canvas, and that's what I don't like, because then I have to pick them off. And also, I had a bit of an accident with my 10 placer. I was very lucky that I was able to, the plug here, in case anyone's looking, this part broke off into the pen, but I was able to, because it's not super snug, use a pair of tweezers and pull them right out. but I need to find, I have another multi-pack somewhere, but I need to find another 10 placer because this is my I thought it was a 15. But I don't use this one as much. And then my next size that I tend to go to is a 7. I have a lot of pens out on my desk. I know not everyone's like that, but, yeah. So Wednesday we went to Kinder Music and her head teacher came with us again. And I was so excited. My daughter, Briar, in case you didn't know, we were in the parking lot and she's like, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see everybody. And then we walked in and it was literally like not the same child. She wanted nothing to do with anybody. I don't want to. Maybe later. Maybe later is the one that she does all the time, you guys, and it drives me nuts. I don't want to, like, I know you don't want to do things, kid, but like this is life. And I try to be as understanding about things as possible, but sometimes it's obnoxious things. Like, what do you want to eat for lunch? I don't know. Maybe later. Okay, well, mommy and daddy are getting lunch now. Maybe later. Nothing. So we've started telling her, like, if you don't tell us what you want, we're just going to get something and that's all that's being offered. Because you have an option here to tell me what you want. But anyway, we went in and in the one... Sorry, I thought there was more of this color, but there's not. In the one WIP Chat, I was talking about how she, like, physically collided with one of the other kids. They did it again. I swear to God. Do toddlers not look? Like, are they just completely unaware? Because, like, they literally ran, like, boom, head to head. And they were both fine. Briar, like, really was fine. She, like, shook it off and, like, then was looking at the other kid, like, why are you crying? And I was like, because your hard head just smacked her and knocked her down. She's allowed to cry. She's also, like, 2.5. So she's much younger than Briar. But we did that. And our head teacher told us that there was an opening. There was another preschool program that I was not aware of that would take my daughter. And they had an opening. And I emailed the girl, like, within an hour of her telling me that. And the woman got back to me and said, oh, I'm so sorry. We filled that position last week. And it kills me because, like, these are programs that are for kids who may not financially be able to afford preschool. But honestly, like, I would pay in a heartbeat if I could send her somewhere. But until she's potty trained, which is not going anywhere again, I'm just stuck where I am. And, like, I had somebody say to me, well, can't you try this school or this school? The problem is if they're not in my county, because we have county-based school services, I have to petition to see if they can take her in another county. Like, if they'd even be willing to transfer her services over. And it's not a guarantee. Like, they might say to us, we don't have enough speech teachers to take on an extra case. But if I did all of this and then she still didn't get into a program, now I don't have in-school services. So for us, we've discussed it, and as much as it sucks, it's smarter for us to just keep her where she is and hope and pray that something changes instead of trying to petition to get our services transferred out. Because especially if we do get transferred to another county, I can't guarantee that we're going to get teachers that will work well with us. I can't guarantee that we'll have teachers that are flexible. Right now, the current status with her teachers and stuff is great. Her head teacher is super, super quick at getting back to me with things and really easy to coordinate things around. But at the same token, because of COVID restrictions, and like this is not up for debate, because I know somebody is going to have something to say about this that they don't understand. It's not a matter of what I want for my kid versus what the school district wants for my kid versus what we think is best for my kid. At this current time, they are not allowing two separate students who have similar IEP goals to be brought together in a setting unless they are already in a classroom together. So that means if there's another kid in our county who has the same head teacher and the same social goals, we can't put the two of them together for each of them to work on their social goals. This was something that we were told we would be able to do, and then COVID restrictions changed again, and now here we are. So it is what it is. It's very frustrating because these social goals will never be hit unless she's in a social setting, which would be, in this case, for us, preschool. She has social interaction at her music class, but to the extent that, like, she's there for, like, 45 minutes, and it's an all ages class, so there are kids that are, younger than her. She is the oldest one in the class, and that's okay. I don't have a problem with that, because she doesn't need to socialize with somebody that's the exact same age as her, because let's face it, if my kid went to school tomorrow, she would be in a 3-year-old classroom, even though she's about to be 4, because her birthday was not before the September 1st cutoff. At the same token, because of that, she gets bumped down the list if there's a kid with the same exact needs as my daughter, but who is needing to be in the 4-year-old classroom because they want to get them ready for kindergarten. So, I mean, hopefully next year we'll have a better chance, but who knows what anything is going to look like next year. And I have already accepted the fact that there's a really good chance that my child will never go to preschool in person. And that sucks. Because even though she has an IEP, which if you don't know what that is, it's an individualized education plan. They can be written for a slew of different reasons. Obviously, for us, the grooming and self-care stuff is all part of it, as well as the speech delays and things like that and her social goals. But unfortunately, she doesn't have enough quote-unquote other issues to warrant her needing more assistance. So while it sucks that my kid deals with certain things, her things that she deals with aren't enough for anyone to say, well, we need to push these services for her. So that was a super big tangent. And next week, she's going to do kinder music with her instructor without us.
This week or next week? It's not
That's,
like 3 days.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
In a few days. Because the week after that, I totally just put the wrong color down. The week after that is GI. You guys are probably like, wow, thanks for telling me your kid's medical schedule. You are quite welcome. Anytime. Not anytime. Sometimes there's some things. Don't swing on by. Don't swing on by because she'll be like, maybe later. Just gonna move this. But let's see, where am I? I lost my my spot here. So my husband, after kinder music, took me to Dunkin' to get lunch. Major air quotes. I just got like their grilled cheese sandwich, which is pretty meh. Because I had my second chiropractor appointment, which is the one that was to go over all the stuff where I found out about my one short leg or one long leg, whichever way you want to look at it, or uneven legs, however you want to look at it. It is what it is. But he had this big plan to take Briar to Five Guys, and then he texted me and he's like, so Five Guys is closed. And so then his next big thing was, well, I'll take her to Wendy's. Wendy's didn't have pickles, so he was having like a hell of a time, and I'm sitting there in this appointment. I'm getting I'm learning so much and finding out what they need to do and like how we're going to set up our treatment plan. And then I scheduled 15 sessions in the span of 8 weeks. It was a very busy afternoon. But then I went down to Gettysburg. If you guys didn't know, I live in central PA. I've lived in Pennsylvania in some capacity my entire life, and I have never been to Gettysburg. It's not super close, but it was a super easy drive, so I would do it again in a heartbeat. It is such small town USA, the cute little independent shops and restaurants. I just loved it, and I got some photos taken, and I was very, very excited because I haven't done anything like just for me in a really long time, and the last time I got any kind of photo taken of me was when Briar was, she wasn't even 1 yet. It was the summer, like her birthday is in November, and it was in July of her first year of life, which I love those photos. Those photos my husband and I got done, and it was the day after World Airway Disorder Day, so he still had blue nail polish on all of his nails, but, it was nice. But then my husband took Briar to the Disney store. They had a fair amount of time while I was in my appointment. I did try to schedule my appointments to work the best they can with our schedule, but this, because it was like the one that goes over your treatment plan, all that stuff, like I didn't know how long it was going to be. And that was a long appointment, but in general, my other appointments won't be that long. And he took her to the Disney store, and he's like, just so you know, I got her something. And he got her like this cute little Minnie Mouse, but that's not the something he wanted to tell me. He got her this Mickey skeleton zip-up one-piece outfit that has Mickey Mouse ears that glow in the dark on the hood, and then the skeletal body on it, and the Mickey Mouse, like, hamburger helper hands. Oh my god. And my kid wore this for 2 days. 2 days straight, you guys. And it's not made of, like, breathable material. It's not pajamas. Like, it is a costume. But they had it on clearance, and my husband was like, it was so cute, I had to get it. And so she wore it around. And then we went to go to dinner. And we were going to go to the Halloween parade one town over. But my daughter decided to take her sweet-ass time doing everything. And by the time we even got out of dinner, like, the parade had already started. It was impossible to, like, get to any of the streets because everything's shut off. We couldn't even maneuver down some of the streets. I was like, this is not going to work. I later found out from a friend. She's like, this will be the last time I'm going. She had a terrible experience. And our kids are the same age. And I was sad by it. But we're going to, hopefully this year, we'll be able to do a little bit more in terms of Halloween stuff. Last year, we opted to not take her trick-or-treating, even though trick-or-treating was a thing around here. But with COVID, we just wanted to keep her safe. So this year, we're going to try to, get some of the trunk-or-treats going again. Which, do you guys have trunk-or-treat where you guys live? I think it is the cutest thing ever. If you don't know what it is, little kids, they go trick-or-treating from trunk to trunk in a parking lot. A lot of times they're held at churches.
Churches and bars for some reason.
Bars?
Yeah, a lot of bars go.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. And you can put your car in it, and you can decorate your car. And there are people who go, like, all out and do full, like, themes for their car, and then they have the matching costumes. And then they give out candy, and it's a way for little kids especially to trick-or-treat, but all have it in one compact area. Because if you've ever been around a tiny human, if you have to walk from, like, house to house to house in, like, a big neighborhood, they can get to a couple houses in and they can be tired. Here, they can do an entire neighborhood's worth of trick-or-treating in a very short time, in a very short distance, and it's always enjoyable. I have enjoyed doing this with her since she was an infant. Her first Halloween, because her birthday's in November, she was 11 months old. So that was a lot of fun, and I have already clicked on Facebook, interested in like 15 different.
Yeah, I get alerts.
Do you?
Yeah, it's like, is interested, and I'm like, oh, it's a Halloween event. Cool.
Oh, Lindsay's interested in a trunk or treat. We found one that we really want to look into. By the way, this color is by far the worst for the small tabs. This is 758. This is her skin tone, one of her skin tone colors. I'm literally just pulling them out. So annoying. But I'll survive. I will survive. Anyway, I don't want to keep singing because I don't want to get, like, copyright strike. But they are going to do a candy drop. We have one of those, I don't even want to call it a regional airport. It's like where people, like, with private planes fly. And they're all, like, small planes. And they're doing a candy drop. And I think that is going to be so much fun, but also might be sheer chaos. So I'm going to look into that a little bit more. But I think that would be fun. I think she'd enjoy that.
I just worry about
the other kids.
Trampling.
I know. And that's a very real likelihood. Like, I have friends, they do an Easter egg not a candy drop, but very similar. And I've had friends who are like, I will never take my kid to this again because the big kids will literally like shove the little kids out of the way for a free chocolate bar or whatever. And like, I live near Hershey. It's not like chocolate is hard to come by. Like, you can literally go to Chocolate World for free and ride the little ride and get a free little chocolate bar at the end of it. And that, ta-da! But anyway, we did that. And then Thursday, we went to Dunkin'. And I was all excited because they have a new peanut butter cup macchiato. I'm going to tell you guys, I do not recommend it. I don't. It did not taste like peanut butter cup. And it's like neon orange. And if somebody has found it and they've enjoyed it, please tell me how you have, because I've also tried to get it in iced coffee and I still did not like the syrup. So, which is such a bummer because I love peanut butter cups. What is your favorite Halloween candy? Or I guess any candy, it doesn't have to be Halloween. My favorite candy is definitely the Reese's Big Cups stuffed with Reese's Pieces. But like Reese's is like my go-to answer for what's your favorite candy? What's your favorite candy, babe? He's not a chocolate person.
No, I'm not. You know what? I don't know. Get back to me on that.
Okay, I'll get back to him on that.
Because I want to give an answer, but I know it's going to be wrong. I know I'm going to go, I should have said this.
Okay, well, what's your gut telling you immediately?
It's peanut butter cups. But I worry that it's going to be just because you said that. That's why I'm saying that. But
You do like Reese's.
I do, absolutely. You get like Rice Krispie treats. Those aren't a candy bar, are they?
I mean, they hand them out at Halloween. So
I love Rice Krispie treats.
Do you like the pre-made ones?
Yeah, I don't mind those. I mean, I like fresh ones better.
Yeah, or the marshmallow is super soft.
Yeah.
Ooh, we should do that with her.
Remember when we did that with us, just us? I did the Cocoa Puffs.
Okay, so my husband it was Cocoa Krispies in one, and then not Fruity Pebbles. Is it Fruity Pebbles?
Yeah.
In the other, and they were really, really good, don't get me wrong. And then he put them in the oven for safekeeping because you don't want to leave like a sweet treat around because then you get ants. And then he forgot that it was in there and he preheated the oven to cook something. And he's like, what is that smell? And he opened up the oven and he's like, well, I forgot that the Rice Krispies treats were in here. Oh, that was terrible. That was terrible. I felt so bad.
And I literally, there was 3/4 of the dish left. So it wasn't like they were near the
right. He had just made them the night before. Yeah. And it's weird because neither one of us smelled it while it was happening. Or maybe we did.
I smelled it. I think I just opened the...
That's what I mean. We didn't smell it happening.
Yeah. I opened the oven to put something in and I was like, well, crap.
Yeah, you're like, so, remember those Rice Krispie treats? And I was like, yeah. And you're like, they were in the oven. And I was like, okay. And you're like, I preheated the oven. I'm like, oh. But we ended up going to see my father-in-law that day. He, where's the edge of this plastic? See, this is what I'm talking about, you guys. Ooh. All right. Well, that just came off. So we're going to keep that off. And that's one of the reasons also why I usually have a piece of release paper around, because if I have, you guys can see maybe, I have a very small piece of plastic cover here that just came off. But if I have a section that needs to be covered, I can just put a couple cover minders. Honestly, that's probably how I use cover minders the most, is to keep a cover on my canvas, not necessarily to keep a cover tacked back. But anyway, so we went to visit his dad, and Briar, again, was in her little Mickey Halloween outfit. If I have a photo of her, I don't know if I have one where her face isn't in it, but if I do, I'll throw it up. If not, just use your imagination. It's super cute. But every time she goes to visit her grandpa, she has to fix, air quotes, his exercise bike. And let me tell you, they need to call a bike mechanic, because the amount of times that they have tried to fix this bike and it doesn't work. And if anybody missed the air quotes, she literally has a tiny little plastic wrench and hammer, and she's always like, I'm fixing the bike, Grandpa, and banging on it and doing all these things. She's such a hoot, though. I love it. But that was nice. Then we had lunch, and totally proud mom moment for me. My daughter drank independently out of a regular water bottle. Safely for the first time ever in her life. And I was so proud of her. If you guys did not know, my daughter has dealt with some dysphagia and aspiration and really struggles to drink water out of an open cup or any liquid out of an open cup. We had to deal with thickening liquids and things like that. If you guys are interested in watching her story, I will link that up in the eye. If you are not, I totally understand. I know medical stuff isn't for everyone, and it's not like gory detail kind of medical stuff, but I know some people just don't want to hear it, and I'm totally not offended by that if you don't. But if you do, and you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, because being an airway advocate is something that brings a lot of joy to my life, to be able to share that knowledge and help other people. So, slight tangent, but, always important. So, let's see, where are we? I did another crochet project. That was fun. And then we got stuck in traffic on the way home, and I was like, crap, I'm going to miss my chiropractor's appointment, which, we were literally at a dead stop on the highway for like 20 minutes. And then once we got on the highway, there was nothing there. So I don't know what was going on. If anyone didn't know, I used to do traffic for a living. So I'm very familiar with like traffic patterns and the way the roads work and, things like that. It's super boring to most people, but I absolutely loved it. But, excuse me, my mom, I talked to her over her nap. And, okay, I love my mom. My mom was upset about dishes, like dishware. And she apparently had purchased some dishes like 8 months ago and really liked them and wanted to order more, but could not find them. And I had to tell her, like, Mom, if they're not on the website, then they no longer sell them, or they're no longer made, or whatever it may be. And I ended up spending my entire, time during her nap, which is usually when I'm crafting, to walk my mom through, and I basically ordered her 2 sets of dishes, because she wanted the one set that they had that had the big plates, the little plates, the bowls, and the mugs, but she didn't like the mugs. And I was like, Mom, you can't pick and choose. If it's a dinner set, this is what comes in it. I don't like these white mugs, but I like these white mugs. And I was like, oh my God, Mom, gonna be honest with you, people, if you have all white dishes, are not gonna go, this all white mug does not match. Or, oh my God, I can't believe this all white mug isn't the exact same as the all white plates. People are just gonna eat or drink out of it. To be honest with you, I am probably the worst person to ask about this, because we have Fiestaware dishes, which if you've ever seen them, they carry them at Bed Bath & Beyond, but they are bright. We have bright yellow and bright green. I would love to add a third color into our mix of dishes. They have reds and oranges, and there's a beautiful bright turquoisey color, which, to be honest with you, I don't know if they still make all these colors, because we got our dishes when we got married, and we've been married now for 9 years, which is crazy to me. My little cousin's like, you guys have been together that long? Yep.
No, we've just been married that long.
He's such a hoot, though. But, Cole, if you're watching, shout out to you. He said to me today, he's like, I'm part of the notification squad whenever you put up a video. And I'm like, thanks, buddy. I mean, he's a teenage boy. But I like to see that he supports. Even if he doesn't watch any of the videos, he's just here to support his cousin. So, anyway, so it drove me nuts. And then she needed help with ordering tiles. My mom's a mosaic artist as well. And look, I don't mind helping my mom at all. My mom is not very tech savvy, and neither am I, to be completely honest with you guys, but I obviously am a level up above my mom. But my favorite thing is she is the kind of person who will always answer the phone. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, Lindsay, okay, what's wrong with that? Have you ever dealt with somebody who answers the phone who does not want to talk to you, or who's busy, or who's in a bad mood, or who doesn't feel well, or who's tired, or who is getting in the shower, getting out of the shower, on the toilet. And I'm like, Mom, then why do you answer the phone then? And she's like, well, you know, in case it's an emergency. That's what the voicemail's for. If it's an emergency, if it's a true emergency and I needed my mom and I called and she didn't answer, I would call back. I would call again and again. I would call and leave a message. I would call her cell phone. I would call my father. Like, in an emergency situation, I'm not going to just let it ring a couple times and then be like, no big deal. I just realized that there's a sticker on my desk. There's the one I've been missing.
I found it.
You didn't find it. You guys, the only thing I don't like about these pre-cut stickers that they have from Diamond Art Club is they peel really easily. So, as you can see, my super official system, I just wrote the DMC and put the symbol on myself. But anyway, anyone else have someone like that in their life? Because she does it to me. It drives me nuts. So I ended up ordering her all these dishes. You guys, the plates and the bowls are coming. Like, they've already been shipped at the time of this sewing. But the mugs are on back order until February. And I'm like, oh shit, she's going to have a problem with this. No, she's like, okay. I'm like, it can't be that big of a deal that you needed these dishes right then and there. If you're like, okay, well, it's not coming until...
Remember, she didn't want the mugs, exactly.
I know. And then, yeah. So, this plastic is not working out in my favor. This is super awkward. If anyone's watching this, I apologize because this is a mess. But I don't want to tape this down or put a minder on this because I might have to, actually. Ugh. Anyway, so, but yeah, I love my mom. Like, I love my mom dearly. And then I got the phone. My husband's like, you are your mom. Like, 100%. When you get flustered, you're like that. I'm like, I am not. But as you can hear in the background, he still agrees with his own statement. So, you know. But it just, like, it's so... How do you deal with somebody who is so frustrating and so frustrated, but they won't listen? Like, oh my God, stop talking for a minute and let me tell you.
Can I tell you how?
Let me guess. Ignore them?
No. Pray for sweet death.
No. We're not doing that. And also, by the way, you guys, I got an email from the tile shop and I got a refund for $14. And I have emailed them and said, could you please tell me what this refund is for? And they have not answered my email. So my mom apparently also placed an order, even though she said she didn't. And she's like, well, I bet you they figured out that both of these orders were coming to me. And that's why. And I'm like, Mom, they were different emails. They're not looking at the address and going, oh, this address already ordered from us this week. Guys, I can't sometimes. I can't. I love my mom, like I said. And then I was super in the mood for chocolate chip cookies. So I was like, let's go to the bakery. And they didn't have any chocolate chip cookies.
You know, when I said, screw, let's just go.
Yeah.
I thought you were getting that for her. I thought you were getting a second cookie for her. And then I realized when we got outside that was for you. And then I felt like an asshole.
Oh. Yeah, because you're like, it's not that big of a deal. And I'm like...
Yeah, I thought you were getting like a second cookie for her. I didn't know you were getting it for yourself. That's my fault. I didn't realize it until we went over and sat down.
It's alright.
Already paying, and I'm like, well, now I feel
like, usually they have these really big, soft-baked chocolate chip cookies. And, like, that's all I wanted. And we tend not to do a lot of things like that in our house. Because if we do, like, we'll eat the whole tray of cookies. Or my daughter inevitably will put a cookie down somewhere and not tell us. And then we'll have a swarm of ants. Because toddlers are fun. But I think that's it for that day. And then Friday, she finally discovered that Minnie Mouse balloon. Like I said, it only took her 2 days. She's such a nut. I love it. Like, she was like, what's that? I'm like, we're like, what's what? And she's like, that balloon? I'm like, this one? Yeah. I'm like, it's Minnie Mouse. And she's like, I'm like, did you want to see it? Yeah. I love how, like, she does it so nonchalantly. Like, yeah, I'll see it. Oh, okay, you'll let me look at it? I'll look at it. But, I feel like Friday was super uneventful. Oh, no, Friday was a good day. Friday we went miniature golfing, and there was, we learned really quickly that we were not actually going to be miniature golfing. Like, we were going to just tap the ball a few times, and then my daughter was going to just put the ball anywhere she wanted to and like push it into the hole and be like, yay. But it was fun. It was so nice out. It was a beautiful day. It was like 80 degrees, which is unseasonably warm for where I live. And we just had a blast. And then there was like an ice cream place attached to it, and we got ice cream afterwards. And there was a family in there, husband and wife. I'm assuming they're husband and wife, and their 3 kids. And I would say their oldest kid was maybe my daughter's age, maybe a little bit older. And I had gotten us all ice cream, and then I got a water bottle and a little drink for myself. And I bring a water bottle for Briar everywhere we go because, like I said, she can't drink out of like a regular water bottle. So I have one that has a straw. Things that I always have straws in my diaper bag as well. Reusable straws, metal straws, silicone straws. But this woman said to her husband, can you please go see if we have any cash in the car? Because I didn't bring any cups for the kids and we need some water. And I just looked at her and I said, you guys can have ours. And she's like, what? And I'm like, you can have our water. It's totally fine. She's like, oh, no. And I'm like, look, I know what it's like being somewhere and not having a drink for your kid. And you've got 3 of them. So please, it's nothing to me. Just take the water, enjoy it. And she was like, are you sure? And I was like, I'm positive. Enjoy it. Like, don't even stress about it. And when you hear the phrase, it takes a village, this is what people are talking about. They're not talking about the person who's going to come over and hold your kid for you. They're talking about the person who's going to come over and make you a home-cooked meal, or the person who's going to help you with a load of laundry, or somebody who is going to run an errand for you. Not the person who's coming to your house when you have a newborn baby that says, can I hold the baby for you? You just go rest for a few minutes, because the new mom doesn't want to rest for a few minutes. The new mom wants you to help her with the dishes or to help her do something to maintain her household. And if you know somebody who has a new baby, please offer your services up before you offer your time. Because I remember when I had my daughter thinking like I could do it all. And then realizing I couldn't do it all, but I was so ashamed to ask for help. And like, I know if we were to ever go down this path again and have another, I would have freezer meals ready to go. I would, like, you guys want to do something for me? Set up a meal train. Like, you know what I mean? Like, really, can someone come and help me do the laundry once a week? Like, little things that may seem little to you, but are near impossible tasks when you are dealing with a tiny human or multiple tiny humans, or, you know, or after surgery, like things like that. Those are the kinds of things that people want. And a lot of people don't say it. They don't say, you know what, I need help around the house. So, but if you offer it, a lot of people
just do it.
Yeah.
Don't even offer it, 'cause some people will
absolutely like come over. Like I had somebody
show up and just start loading up a laundry.
I had somebody come over and ask me where my laundry detergent was as they were like putting stuff in my washing machine, and it was a great feeling. Especially as a new parent, because then you get to relish in those moments of new baby instead of worrying, like, am I doing enough? Will I be able to get this all done? But, we did that, and it was absolutely fantastic, and I loved it. And then yesterday we watched Alice in Wonderland. We were supposed to have a Tat Shabbat that got rained out. But other than that, it was a pretty low-key day. And then today, which is Sunday, the day that I'm filming this, I finished a crochet project for my daughter. I made a cowl. I will insert a picture of me in it. It's super, super cute. I super, super love it. Obviously, it is not my size. I made it for my child. But just to give you guys an idea. And then we went to go spend time, like I was saying earlier, with my family for my aunt's 80th birthday. My aunt is a little spitfire. I absolutely love and adore her. And it was truly fantastic to be able to spend the day. Apparently, we were invited to the birthday party that was last night, and we didn't know that until last night. My dad was just, wanting to protect us because it was going to be a lot of people and it was going to be late, and he didn't want us to feel like we were obligated, because we don't have babysitters or anything like that. And it's an hour and a half away, but she did a really good job today overall. Leaving was hard. And then she fell asleep in the car and we're like, oh my God, is she actually going to sleep? No, joke's on us, guys. Joke's on us because she slept for about half hour and then woke up and was like rip-roaring and ready to go. Oh, so that's probably terrible timing there. So my, or great timing, I guess. My battery apparently is not plugged in, even though it's plugged in. And my flash just went off. So if you guys are seeing this and you're like, oh, it just got really dark, it sure did. But that is the perfect time for me to wrap this up and end this right here. If you guys have made it this far, thank you guys so much. Let me know, what's your favorite day of the week? Let me know down below. Right now, currently, I would say Thursdays are probably my favorite day of the week because it's the day that we don't ever have anything scheduled. But typically Wednesdays, I guess. I don't know. Let me know. What are your thoughts? Did you come up with your favorite Halloween candy?
I'm going to stick with Reese's.
All right, so the big man's sticking with Reese's. Let me know your favorite candy down below. If you enjoyed this video and you would like to see more videos like this or, you know, nothing like this at all, please make sure to give this video 2 thumbs up. One real life, one virtual. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Come, join the Sparkle Squad. And while you're there, hit that notification bell.
Yay.
I do not operate on any sort of schedule. I operate on toddler standard time, and I record when my tiny human is sleeping or sleeping. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys!